like the frost on a rose. Winter comes for us all. Oh, how nature acquaints us with the nature of patience. And like a seed in the snow, I've been buried to grow. For your promise is loyal, from seed to sequoia.
Hey everyone, how are you doing? So today what we're going to do is a mixed media piece, and what that means is we're going to use different art mediums in this art piece. So we'll use a pencil, crayons, and we'll use watercolor paint. So you'll get to see how the different art mediums work together, okay? So we're going to get started with the snow. So what I'd like for you to do is go ahead and sketch very lightly some snow right here on the very, very lower half of your paper. And what I'm going to do is sketch a little bit more snow up here. So I'll sketch layers of snow, okay? And now what we're going to do is take our blue crayon. We're going to lightly trace over those pencil lines so we don't see the pencil lines. Now what we're going to do is we're going to color the inside of the snow white. You're probably wondering why we're coloring the inside white. The reason is we're going to use watercolor paint later on, and you're going to see when we use the watercolor paint that the paint is not going to mix with the white crayon. And so all of this part here, because we're going to color it white, will remain white when we paint above the snow, okay? So you'll go ahead and color the inside of your snow here white. You won't be able to see the white, but that's okay. So you'll color all of the snow in here white. And then in here. Now what you're going to do is sketch the snowman. So this will be the fun part. So all you're going to do is you're going to start here actually at the bottom, and you're going to sketch a circle from the center left right here in the snow. This is his body. And then after you draw the big circle, you're going to draw the medium circle. And then you're going to draw the head, the smaller circle, okay? So that will be your snowman. And then we're going to do the same thing we did with the snow over here with the snowman. So you're going to go ahead and take your blue crayon and trace over your circles. Okay. And then what I'd like for you to do is color inside this bottom part of the snowman. And then go ahead and trace over these lines here. Now, before we color inside this circle, I'd like for you to take your black crayon and go ahead and add some buttons. Okay? And then before you color inside again, we're going to add arms with your brown crayon. So you'll go ahead and sketch one line here and another line there. And then you'll sketch your arms. I'm making it like a zigzag here for his arms. Same thing over here. Okay. You could make it a little bit thicker here if you'd like. They don't need to be perfect. You could have your own style. Okay. And then now we can go ahead and color inside this circle. We'll color him white. So we'll go around his arms, around the buttons, around the arms over here, and then go ahead and trace over the blue. Okay? All right, now we're going to use the black crayon to sketch two eyes here and a smile. So what I'm using is 5 dots here. Okay? And then before you color inside the last circle, you're going to go ahead and sketch a long triangle for his nose. And then now you can go ahead and color inside his face. And you'll color around the eyes, around the nose, around the mouth. Okay. And then you're going to trace over the blue. Now we can go ahead and add our own style for the rest of the snowman. So I'm going to go ahead and add a hat and then a scarf. You can add whatever you'd like for your snowman because yours might look different than mine. You might dress yours a little bit differently. So I'm just going to show you how to draw a hat if you'd like to add a hat. What we're going to do is draw half of an oval. Here. And then we'll go ahead and color inside. This is if you'd like to draw what looks like a beanie. And then right here on top, I'm going to draw, it'll be like a cross. And then I'm going to draw 2 lines like the letter V outward and another 2 lines outward. And then I'm going to go ahead and color mine green in the other spaces. So I'm going to add some green in those empty spaces here. Okay. And then I'm just going to add some dots here. You don't need to do that. You'll add whatever you'd like to your own, okay? Okay, now I'm going to add a scarf. So for a scarf, I'm going to add what looks like a curvy rectangle around the neck. And then I'm going to add a curvy line here. For the rest of the scarf. I'm going to go ahead and add some string here and outline it. Okay, now we're going to draw a snowflake. Okay, for the snowflake, what we're going to do is you can go ahead and find an empty space around here. We're actually going to add a tree, so I'm going to add the tree here and then the snowflake over here. You can go ahead and add the snowflake somewhere around here in your empty spaces. So we're going to draw a straight line downward, and then we're going to find the middle of that line, and from that midpoint we're going to draw what looks like the letter V. And then from here, from this midpoint, we're going to draw another letter V, but it'll be downward. Okay, so let's go ahead and count the lines we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you have 6 lines, then we are on the right track. A snowflake usually has 6 sides, so it usually is shaped like a hexagon. So now from here, you can go ahead and get creative with your snowflake. Snowflakes have different shapes, and so you can go ahead and use different shapes on each line. And what you do on one line, you're going to do on the next, and the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. You're going to repeat the pattern that you draw on one line all around the snowflake. Okay, so for example, I'm going to go ahead and add a heart here on the line, and I'm going to add a heart now on every single line. A heart there, a heart here, and a heart here. Okay, now I'm going to draw the letter V on each line. And then I'm going to draw a line across each line. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a square. Now you get to add whatever shapes you'd like to your snowflake. Yours is going to look different than mine, okay? And now I'm going to add one more V down here. Okay, that's my snowflake. Once you're finished drawing your snowflake, you're going to go over it with the blue crayon. So you're tracing over those pencil lines. Okay, then go ahead and trace over each of your shapes. Now, once you're finished tracing over your pencil line, you're going to take your white crayon and you're going to trace over your snowflake once again. You're going to go over each shape and each line. And remember, no snowflake is exactly the same. So yours will look different. Okay, so once you trace over it with the white crayon, you're going to use your pencil to draw your tree. So you're going to go ahead and draw a straight line right here in your empty space. And then you're going to take your brown crayon and trace over that pencil line. Okay. And now what I want you to do is start right here at the top, and you're going to sketch what looks like a letter V again. And then you're going to repeat this pattern all the way down this tree stump, okay? Now as you go down, you're going to notice that the lines that we're sketching are going to be wider and flatter. So wider and flatter, wider and flatter. Okay. Okay, we'll stop right there. And then you're going to use your green crayon to go ahead and trace over your lines. So it's just like a letter V. Okay, if you notice, we've got a lot of empty spaces in between these letter V's. So I want you to go ahead and use your green crayon to fill those in. Repeat the same letter V pattern, though, to go over them, okay? So you'll go all the way down. So we're just filling in those empty spaces. And remember, it should go wider as we go down. And then flat. Okay, so there's our Christmas tree. Now, one more detail before we paint. We've got empty spaces here. So what I want you to do is take your white crayon. You're going to go ahead and add little dots. So it'll look like falling snow. And then if for whatever reason you'd like a little bit snow on your tree, you can go ahead and add some white you'll trace over a few of these lines. So make sure you use that same letter V pattern, okay? Wide letter V, okay. All right, now we are ready to paint. So what I'd like for you to do is go ahead and grab your paintbrush and then dip your paintbrush in water first. And then you'll go ahead and dip it in your blue. And you're going to begin to paint back and forth horizontally on your watercolor paper, okay? And as you notice, the watercolor paint is not mixing with the crayons. And so what's happening is we see this effect where now it looks like we see snow. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that for this top part. Go back and forth, back and forth. So your snowflake is going to look really unique, really cool. Okay, so go back and forth. Now if you notice, wherever we use the crayon on our snowman, the paint goes right over it. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll go back and forth, around the snowman's arms, around the tree. Now, even as we go over the tree, the watercolor paint is not mixing right with the crayon, which is sort of cool. So go back and forth, back and forth. So you could go right over the crayon, don't be afraid. You go back and forth here. All right. Now, what you'll do is you can go ahead and, if you'd like to try to go over the snow here, you can. But if you notice, the crayon doesn't mix with the watercolor. What will be cool is if you have an effect where it looks like there's a little bit of blue on your snow, that's okay. Okay? So we'll go ahead and leave it like that. Now, if you notice, your paint should still be wet. This is an option. If you happen to have salt at home, You can go ahead and take out your salt, and what you're going to do is sprinkle a tiny bit of salt onto your blue. And then you are all finished. You can name your art piece if you'd like. If you really enjoy titling your artwork, you can even come up with the name of your snowman, whatever you'd like. Okay, see you later.
Like a sea song for the sake of us all. From Bethlehem soil grew Calvary's